what is up? So I want to make a video that I know will rock the boat for the vast majority of mainstream Christians and also people who just don't believe in God or a creator at all, and also the spiritual New Agers. So yeah, I'm gonna get it from all sides, but that is okay. I've been feeling this for a while and I feel like it's time for me to release this. So, I know a lot of us can agree that there's good in us and there's bad in us, light and dark, yin and yang, if you will. So, something that the mainstream Christians, not all, but like I said, a vast majority, and the New Agers have in common is that we are a balance of light and dark, and that's just who we are, and to accept it, because the vast majority of mainstream Christianity believe that we are just covered by grace, and that's it. That's all there is to it. That the faith and belief in Jesus, Yashua, is all we need. That we could just live life however we want. So that is something they definitely have in common. The difference is the Christians view it as sin. They say that they are sinners, that the darkness is sin, but that they are not strong enough to overcome it, so they accept it. The New Agers, however, don't view it as sin. Don't say that the darkness is sin, that it's just necessary. It's a balance. It's a part of us. They too accept it. I believe, however, that yes, we are sinners. Yes, we are in darkness. But Yeshua came to expose all of the darkness within, to not let us hide behind the leaves, to draw us out from the darkness, expose it, see it, own our crap, confess it, and have faith in Yeshua that with his help, let me pause, Yeshua said when he was about to be crucified at a place of the skull, the kingdom, right? That he was going to send a helper. What would we need a helper for if we were just covered by grace and that was it? That we didn't have to do anything. Back to where I was. To have enough faith in Yeshua to crush our sin, to crush our carnal mind, to crucify our flesh daily, as he says, to flush out the garbage, to cast out the darkness, so that we can rise above that garbage, so that we can spiritually evolve. I know a lot of us believe that, or think that, what is life about? A lot of us feel crazy, right, at times. Like we're just circling the same darn mountain again and again, expecting change. I'm guilty of this. It's because I'm too busy balancing light and dark. Not because I view the darkness or accept the darkness as just a part of me. I view it as sin, but I'm still too busy. I'm just a hypocrite. I'm too busy juggling it, rather than allowing myself to surrender to the light, to rest in the light, and allow him with his strength to cast out and flush out all my demons, all my darkness, all my strongholds that we've been birthed in, that we have been poison, mind control, pollution, just, it's endless, the garbage we've been injected with since birth. So he has empathy. He came in the flesh to relate, to be, to connect with us, right? So that we can, with his help and his strength, humble ourselves. Yes, we are weak. Yes, we are full of sin. But we have enough faith in you that you provide us with the tools we need to crucify our flesh daily as we rest in you, flushing out all that garbage so we can evolve spiritually, so we can rise above the muck, the darkness, to not just call it good, call it a part of us. You know, it says in the Bible that they will call evil good. Is not the yin and yang, accepting it as a perfect balance, not calling evil good? It sounds like it to me. I know it's hard. That's why we circle the same mountain, expecting change, whether it's just balancing the light and dark because we just say it's a part of us, or juggling it because we're not surrendering to that light, we're not being faithful to what we know in our hearts we should do. Because nothing's going to change if we just keep juggling it. We're just going round and round. Nothing is going to evolve spiritually. But when we fight, and when I say fight, honestly, it's just letting our mind be still. And yeah, that's a fight, because in our culture, everything is so fast-paced. Our mind is constantly going. It's our worst enemy. It's constantly negative thoughts, judgmental thoughts, perverted, greedy, vain thoughts, right? It's just our culture. Like I said, we're injected by all these things. But if we just be still and meditate on God's truth, on God's light, on God's love, right? Then he gives us the strength to flush out all the lies, all the poison, all the garbage, all the manipulation, all the mind control, to really crush our carnal mind and have a renewing of the mind of Christ, a spiritual, deeper mind. So as we do that, circling the mountain each day, fighting, flushing it out, that mountain will eventually be gone with that faith of a mustard seed, faith in him, to not just keep circling the mountain because it's just who we are and that we're too weak to change. That's the deception, that's the lie, to keep us in this standstill, illusion, fabricated, cozy little hells. It's time to burst that bubble, take a step back and see through the deception that's been placed before us, that's been fed to us from false prophets. It doesn't mean that we're perfect, that we're totally righteous. We fight to be righteous. It doesn't mean we're not going to fall. But as we're circling that mountain, and we're not just accepting the darkness as part of us, and we're at least fighting to let our mind be still and flush out the lies and the garbage, we grow a little more spiritually. You know, it says that at first we drink of the milk, right? Because we're like babies in the spirit. But we don't stay there. We don't stay there. We grow. We grow. We grow till we're able to eat of the meat. You know, really just be able to process it. Or just like a garden, you know, it starts as a seed planted. But we don't just leave it a seed. We water it. We till it. We birth it, right? World bloom. We let it blossom in us. And we own it. We own our crap. And we let a loving Father, Spirit, prune us, refine us, like a loving parent does with their child, right? The child is like, why are you doing this? The child doesn't grasp it or get it at first. It feels too heavy. It feels too much, like the parent is trying to just punish the child, and the child doesn't understand why. It's for their greater good, even though they can't see it yet. That's just how it is in the Spirit. So why does light and dark need to be divided? Because righteousness and sin can no longer blend. It can no longer coexist. Why? Look at this world. This is what it creates. Are you happy with this world we live in? Do you feel totally free and trusting of our government and of all your neighbors and everyone to just send your children off to school, not worrying about the school being shot up or your child being kidnapped? You feel totally at ease? No, we're not ignorant. We're not ignorant to what goes on, and especially here in this country, yes, but in other countries especially, the dark things that go on that we all know happens, that we just don't want to discuss or we want to turn a blind eye to, right? No, it's not a blind eye. We are not ignorant to what goes on. So how can we just be at peace knowing that people are, we're not going to discuss that, but you know what goes on. And then also the starvation, that people are literally starving to death, right? How can we just accept it? No, this is not our home. This is an illusion. We are fighting to be back in a place that was intended to be in the beginning. He's making a full circle. Yes, we fell, but he doesn't leave us in this fallen atmosphere. We don't juggle the light and dark. We are called to rise above the darkness and the garbage to show that good can blossom even out of evil. But it's not just, I accept Yeshua and I'm all of a sudden righteous and awesome and I'm just covered by grace and that's it. No, you have to be pruned, you have to be refined, you have to go through the fire, you have to be molded and reshaped. You have to be divided, because light and dark can no longer coexist, because look at what it's created, what we have created with our free will. We stumble, we fall, but we get on our knees, we humble ourselves, we confess it. We're brushed off, and we try again. Every day is a new day to try again. He knows our heart. He's the new law written on our heart. So we're fighting to be back in a place that was intended to be in the beginning, where there's no GMOs, there's no poison, pollution, false prophets, mind control, where we just eat of the ground, the herbs, the fruits, the whatever freely. We're able to explore, to swim with the animals, to just be as it was intended to be, not a castle in the sky, fairy tale bullcrap, but a native tribe where we are one family under truth and love and true unity, true equality, trusting each other. He has to divide the light and the darkness, because in order to be in a place like that, You have to know that you can trust your neighbor, that you love your neighbor as yourself. You're not going to worry about them murdering you or stealing your stuff or kidnapping your child. We need to know that we're in a place where we can trust one another and that we trust God and God trusts us. The prayer that Yashua says is in the end, deliver us from the evil one. We are so full of darkness and evil. Yes, we're in the darkness and we are sinners, but it's to be exposed and flushed out every day, just growing and evolving spiritually. So don't accept the darkness as good and think that we don't have enough strength to crush it. We've already been shown that it's crushed. We have to own that authority that's not of our own, that's of Yashua. That through him we are able to do the same by resting in our shepherd. I'm going to make a second video on this. I don't want this one to get too long, but I love you. Thanks for hearing me.